Hello, welcome to this lesson where we want to look at simple interest. In our Zambian syllabus, simple interest is one of the topics that you find in grade 8. Okay, so for those that are preparing for the grade 9 exam, this is one of the topics or lessons that they are supposed to cover. So let's get started. What is simple interest? All right. What is simple interest? So I gave a definition here. Interest is the money the bank pays on the money that is in the savings account. Okay? So when you go and deposit money in your account, the bank uses that money. So for using your money, okay? The money that the bank gives you, or the money that you make as a result of putting money in your savings account, that is what we call interest. And simple interest is calculated as a percentage of the initial amount loaned, which is called principal. That amount which you have deposited, it is called the principal. Okay? Now, the simple interest has got a formula that we use. And the formula is, to calculate simple interest, we use the formula interest is equals to principal multiplied by R multiplied by T. R is what? Interest rate here. Then time, T here is time in years. Take note, time in years. P is the principal, which is the amount that you have deposited. Okay? Or this can still be written like this, because the percentage is divided by 100. The percentage, so for simplicity, we just say, but the percentage, which is rate, is the one that is over 100. And take note also here that time is supposed to be in years. I hope that is clear. So I'm going to give you, we're going to look at the first example. Okay? We are going to look at the first example. We are going to look at the first example. Okay? And it reads, Kunda deposits 40,000 with Zanaco Bank at interest rate of 3% per annum. Simple interest. Okay? How much will she have in the bank after 5 years? That is the first part. And the second part is, how much interest will she have earned in total in 5 years? All right? So we want to look at after 5 years, okay? After 5 years, how much is Kunda going to have? Because this is the amount that she has deposited. And then we are looking at how much is she going to make after 5 years. So don't forget, we said the formula for simple interest. Formula for simple interest is equals to principal multiplied by R multiplied by time. Okay? So how much will she have in the bank after 5 years? So in the bank after 5 years, we know that there will be this 40,000. Are we together? There will be this 40,000. Now, on top of this 40,000, there will also be an interest. Okay? There will also be an interest. So now, to calculate the interest that is going to be made after 5 years, this is what we are supposed now to do. The principal is the amount that was deposited, which is 40,000 multiplied by the rate. The rate is 3%. A percentage is out of 100. That's why there's that 100 there. Okay? multiplied by time. Take note, time is supposed to be in years, and the yes, it is given in years. So we want now to calculate here how much is going to be the interest. So you can knock out these two zeros as well as two zeros from 40,000. So we're going to remain with 400 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5. We want to find the interest. So can we multiply these? This is now going to give us how much? 60,000. So 60,000 is going to be the interest for keeping 40,000 in the account for 5 years. Now let's get back to the question. What does the question say? How much will she have in the bank after 5 years? So after 5 years, she's going to have the 40,000 plus this 60,000 interest. So the question here, the answer to our question is going to be 46,000. That's what is going to be our answer to the first question. Then the second question is that how much interest will she have earned in total? That is in 5 years. So how much interest? Interest is what we have covered here. This is the interest that she's going to earn. All right? This is the interest that she's going to earn. So the interest here is going to be 6,000. This first question is going to be how much? 46,000. I hope you managed to follow the explanation that I gave. All right, so we have another question. Simbarashe deposits 20,000 in her bank account for 10 months at the rate of 48% per annum. Read the question again. How much will she have how much will she have received? How much will she receive or have? How much will she, I think, much will she receive or have after 10 months? Simbarashe deposits 20,000 in her bank account for 10 months at the rate of 48% per annum. How much will she receive or have after 10 months? So we are still dealing with the same question. I hope you are following. Okay, I hope you are following. So this girl, Simbarashe, deposits how much? So take note, we are still dealing with this same formula. Okay, which is over time, 100 here. So she deposits how much? 20,000. Okay, in 10 months. And how much will she receive or have after 10 months? After 10 months, take note of that. So now what we are supposed to do here, we are supposed to say interest, we need the interest. Okay, so our principal is 20,000 multiplied by the rate. The rate is 48%, 48 over 100 multiplied by, please, if you remember very well, we said time is supposed to be in years. Time is supposed to be in years. Now that what we are given are months, we need to convert this into years. So we are going to write 10 months over 12, because you know that a year has got how many months? A year has got 12 months. So you can't put 10 here. 10 is a number of months, not years. Please take note of that. So now we have to get to simplify this one here. So we say this is equals to, I'll knock out two zeros here, also knock out 2. So we have 20 multiplied by 48 multiplied by, here we have like 5 over 6. Okay? Why 5 over 6? 2 here, it's 5. 2 here, it's 6. So we are going ahead with 200 multiplied by, let's see, can 6 go into 48? Okay? Can 6 go into 48? Can 6 go into 48? What is our answer? 6 times 8, what do we get? What is 6 times 8? 6 can go into 48 8 times. All right? Multiplied by 5. Now, let us multiply these and get our final answer. What we are going to get is the interest for putting 20,000 kwacha into the bank account for 10 months. Let's multiply. What are we getting? So we're going to get 8,000 kwacha. We're going to get 8,000 kwacha. All right? So what does the question say? How much will she receive or have after? How much is she going to have? So after 10 months, just like you saw, she still has her money, which is 20,000. So on top of 20,000, there will be interest of 8,000. So how much is she going to have? She's now going to have 28,000 kwacha. This is the amount that she's going to have. All right. Let's look at the last example now. Let's look at the last example now. All right. Tawana received 96,000 interest. Okay. Now here, Tawana receives 96,000 interest after investing 480,000 at 4% per annum. How long was the money invested? How long was the money invested? So take note of that. So Tawana received 96,000 interest, okay? After investing 480,000 at 4% per annum. How long was the money invested? So here, we are looking at this case. We have our interest, principal, multiplied by rate, multiplied by time. So, when you read this question, you are going to discover that we are given, the interest is already given here. They have given us the interest. And then the principal is given as 4. Okay? Then the rate here is also given as what? 4%. 4 over 100. Then what we do not know is time. That's why they're asking us how long. How long? They're talking about time. So we do not know what time it took for this money to generate this amount of interest. So in other words, we are calculating for what? For T, which is time. And you must know that time is calculated in what? In years. Now, you have to understand here that you just need to solve the equations. This is like becomes an equation. So you go on and say 96,000 is equals to, you knock out these 2 zeros and 2 zeros from this one. You're going to remain with multiplied by 4 multiplied by t. All right. So now what we want here is the value of t. So it means both sides we have to divide by multiplied by 4, so that this and that can go. So we need to divide both sides. In other words, you can multiply this and get what they will give you. So you can multiply these two and see what you are going to get. When you multiply them, you get 19,200. Okay. Now take note that here we are remaining with t alone. So this must give us the value of t. So t must be equals to 96,000 divided by 19,200. Let us divide. You can get rid of the 2 zeros. Even here you get rid of the 2 zeros. Then you divide now 960 divided by 192. We can divide this. What are we going to get? This is going to give us 5. So this 5 is years. That is time. Will be years. So you must know that they not always ask you for time. They can even ask for principal, or they can ask you for the rate. When they're asking for the rate, it means they'll give you interest, principal, and time. So the process will be the same. So now let me give you an exercise. Okay, so here is your question. Answering this is your exercise. Question number 1. Number 48 here is what you're answering. That is your question number 1. We go to question 2. So this is our question 2 here, Mr. Chama. That is the question that you're answering. All right. Let's look at the last one now. So your last question was in 2010. Question 21. This is the question that you're answering now. What was the value of the loan? So here you're finding the value of the loan, the principal. Okay. Very good questions. All right. So I'll be waiting for the answers for those of you that we are in agreement with. All right. So goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe.